Hey guys, Famicom Master back here with another video for you, and today we'll be taking a look at this Compudyne 3SL25 notebook. Now this is a new old stock machine, sort of, that I bought off eBay a couple days ago, and it finally shipped. And I can't show you the back, but it's the same as the front because it's got a shipping label on it. And I've already had it out of the box, gotta be honest, just to make sure everything worked and everything was there. This is about as new as it gets for a early 90s laptop. So in the box you always get power cord and a big old charger. It is quite a large charger. With this machine you get some diskettes, license agreement. Let's look at some of those. Kind of hard to do this one-handed. No one reads the license agreement, but DOS 5, all three of them. Correct grammar for Windows, disk 1 and 2. We won't be using those, but we have them. The branded discs that go with this machine, so we'll certainly keep them with this computer. That off to the side. We've got some owner's manuals, owner's literature, user's manual for the computer, user's computer for correct grammar, which is the software that this machine came with when it was new. It was just in the box, you saw. The Microsoft DOS 5 and Windows 3.1 Concise Edition manuals, and of course the machine itself. Give me 1 second to get it out. And here we are back with the machine out. And as you can see, it's very beige. Now, we'll look around the ports and on the outside before we open the computer up. So on the side here, we have a knockout plate for a modem that mine didn't come with. We have some ports on the back here. We have a PS2 keyboard connector, not for mice. The mouse is internal. You'll see that in a second. Scuff mark. A parallel port. You can see what I mean by not entirely new old stock. A serial port, VGA video output. There's our very odd charger. Not sure what to call that. And then behind here, I'm not going to bother prying this off, but this is just a docking connector, nothing interesting. On the other side here, we have our diskette drive, our eject button, and our activity LED. On the front, we have our latch button. On the bottom, we have a battery. It's kind of hard to get out one-handed, it really is. Hold on 1 second. There we go, it's out. And actually, I didn't notice this before. It comes with shipping tape over the contacts so it doesn't discharge or damage the cell during shipping. It doesn't come off cleanly though, hold on. Okay, there we go. Had to spend a few minutes scraping that off because that was very old double-sided packing tape that was no longer happy. That may be why the battery wasn't charging earlier. Who knows? We've got a nice label down here. CMPD 3SL25. It's a 386SX at 25 megahertz. Tells us the adapter requirements, that kind of stuff. FCC serial number that's kind of old. And I suppose we should open it now, shouldn't we? Ah, yes. We have the trackball that was optional. Ergonomics. That's just the installation guide. We'll deal with that later. Power button. Suspend button. We've got a nice display up here. It is inverted by default. And it does have a contrast and a brightness slider, so it's kind of crappy. Not very good for text, but or games, I should say. Keyboard is decent. It's got a speaker here. You got some RAM expansion stuff down there. Cover. You can see this is actually a PS2 mouse that comes off and connects right into the motherboard. So go set up the charger and we can test this out. Okay, everything is all set up. We've got our charger plugged in, and actually the light is now on to charge the battery. since we installed, or since we took off the protective film that was covering the battery. And I also forgot to mention, we have ourselves an expansion cover here. You can remove this. You have extra memory, up to 6 megabytes, which this machine has. You have an internal fax modem, which of course you'd break this off and it would go in there. And a 387 SX coprocessor, which I may get at some point. I figure it's going to be impossible to find that fax modem, so I'll take a look, but don't expect any miracles. Alright. Focus. We're going to skip this memory test. It takes a long time. And we're booting into DOS. This is just in a generic DOS disk, so the sound.com is actually for a different machine. And all the ESS stuff is for a different machine, but the mouse driver works, and that's really all that matters to me. Let's type mem. So we have the full 6 megabytes of RAM that this machine can have. It's not that impressive, but for 1988, that was probably, well, 1991, 92-ish when this came out. That would have been a pretty substantial amount of memory for a laptop, so that's probably okay. What else do we have? It has an internal hard disk. Not sure how big. It doesn't auto-detect the size of it, and since the battery was out for so long, it no longer has a clue what size that hard disk is, and I haven't taken it apart to check, so let's run a couple little programs here on the disk. Let's see what we've got. We've got Rogue. Sorry for the squeaking, that's my chair. I guess we'll call him Larry. Oh, never mind, we can't type anything in. But this works totally fine. I mean, this is exactly what you'd expect. This is just Rogue. Shift Q for quit. Yes, quit. Let's see here. What else do we have on here that we can play with? We have a CGA clock, I believe. Let's see how that works. Yeah, it looks okay. It is indeed 7:20 p.m. So I believe it's Control-Shift-S brings it into setup, or Control-Alt-S, something like that. Yeah, Control-Alt-S on the keyboard. Control-Alt-S all at once brings you into system setup, where you can discover power control. Not a lot in here. Disk is disabled because it doesn't know what kind of hard drive we have. BIOS features, auto park, yeah, numlock off. You do not want a quick boot because we need to boot from diskette, because it won't boot from diskette on quick boot. It'll only boot from the hard disk, and well, right now that doesn't work. Security is like a password and stuff. I don't care about that. System information, 386 SL, no coprocessor yet. 6 megabytes of memory. We have the internal mouse. In setup, here we see a problem. This clock only goes to 2010. And that's wrong, actually. It needs to be 7/26/2009. Just still 10 years behind what it actually is, but it'll be okay. And I don't really know what else to say here. This is just the setup screen. Save our changes and exit. Then the machine restarts. And after several years of testing memory, which we will skip for now, I would like to be the same age when I started when I get this video out. It takes a while to boot. It's a 386, I can't really expect much. Oh yes, this contrast wheel has quite some range on it. And so does this brightness. That backlight is nice and bright. That's a low hour backlight if I ever saw one, if not a brand new one. But that gets nice and bright. This is a very good display. I like this screen a lot, if only because it's in good shape. We have System Beeps, the album on here. And it looks wrong because it's in grayscale and inverted, but this is just kind of an album that uses the PC beeper to play music. So we'll play my favorite song, which is Square Wave. It's actually used as an Into Battle in Planet X3 soundtrack, the game by 8-Bit Guy. Now, let's see here, what else do we have? I know we don't have anything else on that disc. So how about a different disc? This is a much older DOS disc. Give us the directory, Mr. Boss. Speed Store we don't care about because this machine doesn't have a hard disk right now, apparently. King's Quest, we've got that. King's Quest. Everyone loves King's Quest, right? I like that song, but I don't want to let it sit on the screen for too long. Alt-Z, enter. That exits if you didn't know. Take that disc out. We've got one last diskette here with games on it to try. And it is Lotus III, The Ultimate Challenge, which is a very good racing game. And it's actually in